Cherry Bombs. Played last night. 0 hour, 9 p.m. But I'm gonna be back, hack, at Beverly's by then. I miss Duck World so much. I miss my life. It's lonely here on Earth. Who knew Cleveland would be so rough? And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till I get those duck titties off my mind. I'm not the man they think I am at the lab. Oh no, no, no. I'm the Dark Overlord.
It's true though. Duck titties.
So many duck titties.
All the duck titties. Well,
With that, welcome to the Nostalgia Killers podcast, where we revisit films from our youth to see if they still hold up or should be inserted into the great DVD player in the sky. I'm Luke Lone, once again joined by Chuck Starzinski.
hello, hello.
And Robert Negoesco once again.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
And today we are discussing George Lucas Presents Howard the Duck.
They call him Howard the Duck.
I actually remembered the theme song from my childhood much more than any of the rest of the movie.
Oh yeah, that is
I've
burned deep. Like I will, be in situations where I struggle to remember my social security number. I will never forget the chorus of Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck.
I had the notion to learn it on guitar and bring it for you guys.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What a treat.
Yeah.
What a treat, everyone. You better stay to the end.
I was gonna say, that's Patreon exclusive right there.
but there's a really tough chord and I can't really nail it, so it didn't happen.
Well, still, stay to the end.
Oh, yeah.
Be the best Marvel after credit sequence you've ever seen.
Dude, the MCU started right here.
That's right.
Right.
I know, that blows my fucking mind.
Yeah. Right.
I think I looked it up. There's a 1944 Captain America serial.
Mm-hmm. And then it's
That's
Howard.
it. And then it's
It's Howard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, the first theatrical film.
And some really, really angry nerds on IMDb will tell you that Red Sonja was first, but that's a different Red Sonja.
Yeah, it's different. Okay, look, that's Robert E. Howard. Well, it's Conan, and then that's a character created for the Conan universe. That's different. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
Those nerds can suck it.
So for anyone who hasn't seen it, Howard the Duck, this is from IMDb. A sarcastic humanoid duck is pulled from his homeworld to Earth, where he must stop an alien invasion with the help of a nerdy scientist and a struggling female rock singer.
That happens.
I would watch that.
Yeah.
I would not watch Howard the Duck again.
Hey. That I would argue all of that does happen.
It does.
It does, but it's so much worse.
Yeah, what else happens? Like a 48-minute chase with an airplane. 48 minutes long. Look out, Howard.
That's my only, I'm going to come in hot on this one. Controversial takes the entire episode. That is one of the only things that can get cut. Is that 48-hour like plane fest where it's just Tim Robbins being like, pull up.
It's definitely the worst part in the movie. There is weird, insane charm throughout. There's also a lot of boring stuff, but that is the one thing that's just like, dude, what? Like if this was like a 4-minute, 3-minute sequence, okay, but it's like really long.
Oh, they milk it. They are flying.
It is very long, but I'm going to give a hot take here and say that was my favorite part of the movie.
Holy shit.
Only because they fly through like this part of California that I've lived in and driven through for a good 20 years now. Like I was like, hey, I lived there. I know that place.
They fly through it like 6 times.
Yeah, they do.
Literally.
They do. Like it goes on and on and on. It's nothing but Tim Robbins screaming and like,
you were a duck once. Tap into your nature or whatever. And he's like, what do you want from me? Like, I'm like, you're going to die too, Howard. Have some sort of stakes here.
He's snark till dark. He's going until the bitter end.
See, I want Howard in other movies. Like, I want him to be just an actor in other 80s movies. I don't want Howard the Duck's movie. I want like, oh yeah, Howard's here. And he's like, oh, what do you got to go back in time, kid? Or whatever, like I want him just in the crowd.
Oh yeah. I honestly, might be the not necessarily a hot take, but it's a bitter truth that a lot of people can't swallow. This is a love story.
It is.
And I want to see that movie more than I want to see the actual him taking on the Dark Overlords.
Yeah, that part, I completely forgot about that. Like, I have seen this movie once when I was a kid. I didn't remember any of that until I like paused it to go up to the bathroom, and I was like, wait, it's like only just past half over. What? Yeah. I thought the cops were coming. I thought that was like the end of the movie. Right. And then there's this whole other thing, and I was like, I didn't remember any of that stuff. I did remember the romance, like, because it is Leah Thompson?
Leah Thompson, yeah.
Leah Thompson, yeah.
Back to the Future, which I was just referencing. So he should be in that. He'd be like, hey, sweetheart, like I went back in time and I stole. Marty's never going to get born for a different reason.
I was going to say.
Marty's going to have some feathers.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like Marty going back to stop a duck from fucking his mom.
Yeah, I want that movie where Howard's the antagonist. He's like,
he's Biff.
Bring it on, kid. Like, what are you going to do? You can't beat this sexual charisma.
Marty, I've got terrible news. Yeah. It's about your mother.
Your mom fucked a duck, Marty. Your mom fucked a duck 30 years ago. But yeah.
But Doc, why am I still here then?
Yeah.
It's like,
you're becoming a duck.
That's part of the plan.
All right. Well, we'll get our chat GTP to write the script for that one for us.
There we go.
We'll read that. That's a Patreon exclusive. Howard the Duck, Back to the Future.
But yeah, I'm the only person who I think enjoyed this movie.
Probably.
Yeah.
Likely, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I will defend this movie, but I will also put my stance out there first. I love this movie. I've probably seen it at least 30 times. I watched this movie also way too young. I must have been around 5 or 6 when I first saw it.
So am I correct in saying that the duck breasts were potentially the first breasts you saw?
Aside from my mother's, possibly, yeah.
Yeah, that you're not alone in that either. I mean, I think a generation was scarred.
Oh, yeah. No, like, I think, like, my mom sat me down in front of it because it was like, oh, it has puppets and stop motion, so it must be for kids, right? And it's like, there's no way this movie is super fucking horny.
Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah.
That is the heart and soul of this movie. Yeah, this movie is probably way more influential on me than I've ever realized. It definitely gave me like my deep-seated love for schlock and camp.
I could see that.
And I think of like because of my exposure to things like this and Ren and Stimpy at such a young age, I've been obsessed with seeking out like the weird and fringe and more offbeat side of entertainment my entire life. And this was also like in super heavy rotation in my early 20s when I was smoking a ton of weed.
Yeah.
So also this was like watching it for the first time because it's like, oh, I saw it as a child. Then, just internally took in like the subconscious scarring.
Yeah. Before you're able to really go, is this bad? Where you're just like, this is a thing. I must be bad if I don't get it. So you just take it all.
This is happening to me.
Yeah.
And then in the, early 20s when I'm just like, just bong hit after bong hit and just like completely ripped off my ass. It's like, oh yeah, it's just like, some duck titties, cool. And then like, it's just in one ear out the other.
Yeah.
This is the first time I sat down and was like, oh, I like took in, I was like, oh, there's a storyline here.
Yeah. There's a script. People wrote this. People filmed this.
Someone woke up at like 5 a.m. for craft services and like sliced bagels and apples and things and they made this movie. This happened.
I had the thought multiple times. I was like, man, like people really drove a truck into the water for this movie. Like I kept doing that. I was like, oh, what? Like, oh, they hired all those cops for this?
My impression watching it most recently, I've said before, is like, this is the first thing I've seen that's been written, produced, and edited in close proximity to a carbon monoxide leak. Because like I just can't like fathom who would come up with this.
It's crazy.
Thinking they were doing good. Sorry, Chuck.
No, it's all right.
But it's like,
that's what I'm here for.
I can't tell if it's for kids.
It's not.
Or for adults.
It's for, yeah.
If it's for adults, why do they play like it's for kids? All the comedy is so Weird Al, 1980s UHF. And I don't get it.
I would make the argument it's probably all studio because I have not read the comics, so I don't know what the vibe of the comics is.
The comics were harder. They were much more noir.
Oh, the comics were like head shop people were into the comics. Like little kids did not give a fuck about Howard the Duck. Like kids hated Howard the Duck at the time. It was 20-something-year-old potheads in the early 70s who were reading Howard the Duck. Now, I do think that's the main problem with this movie. Like, you've seen it before where a movie's trying to be one thing and it's trying to be another thing, and they go right down the middle, and it's like, you got to be on one side of the street or the other. If you stand in the middle of the street, you're going to get run over. Like, so I think either way, this movie would have been improved. If it had been full kiddie, much better. If it had been way dirty, like gross, I mean, that's what I want.
Yeah, no, this movie...
Like, I want all, like, stick with the duck titty stuff and, like, roll with all that. Don't do the, like, that stuff. Like, but it's like, either way, I think would have been stronger. I think it suffers because it's trying to be both, which, what is more diametrically opposed than, like, like a raunchy sex comedy and, like, a little kid's, like, duck movie, you know?
No, this movie was made by Universal, and it should have been made by Troma.
Yeah, no,
that's
definitely.
like my biggest critique. Like, I think also it's one of those things where it's like, if it was made nowadays, like in the era of Ted and Deadpool and stuff like that, and just Adult Swim culture in general, then that's where this movie deserves to live and breathe.
100%, 100%. Yeah.
And he has made appearances.
Sure.
So there is hope that there could be an actual
Voiced.
real...
Oh, I'm all for it.
Voiced by Seth Green.
Yeah. Or there could be a real Howard the Duck comic book movie.
Also,
I'd be down to watch it.
Even if he just shows up in Deadpool.
Yeah.
Come on, Howard.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But no, what's interesting about the movie, though, what I think does work, I was reading it online, like, people didn't think it worked, but much like RoboCop, the suit, I think, mostly works. Like, the mouth doesn't move enough.
I'm still completely fooled by it.
Yeah. No. There's never uncanniness with him, and that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like, his eyes look alive. His expressions are always real expressions. Like, that's the marvel of the movie. And it's like, he's doing all sorts of weird expressions. They're not like, I'm happy duck, I'm sad duck. It's like him, like, perturbed and, like, disturbed by, like, it's like complex.
Conflicted duck.
Yeah. It's subtlety in the face. And it's like, that definitely works.
Oh, yeah. No, you can see, like, moral struggles occurring.
Yeah,
like, it's just, like, he'll get a close-up and you're like, oh, Jesus
the
Christ.
body language, whoever the performers were in the ducks, like, it that all works, like, I think so.
I think, well, they had, I was watching some behind the scenes in the making of, and they have two different actors playing the actual body of the duck.
Okay.
So when it changes, I could tell. Yeah. I can tell when it's the larger short person. Yeah.
Ed Gale and Jordan Prentice. Ed Gale is the little person who is the primary actor.
Yeah, and Jordan Prentice was he was there for a little bit. He was a younger guy. I think he was only like 17 or 18. So and he couldn't take it just wasn't working out for them for some reason. But they still used some of his takes in the film, I could tell.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, you build a fucking duck costume that fits a man. You got to use those shots. Yeah. Like, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Editing for this must have been a nightmare.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite trivia bits about this is that it was supposed to be a animated film.
Oh, well, that would have worked a lot.
Oh, exactly. No,
it
was supposed to be an animated film right from the jump. And that was like George Lucas's like original, like, the reason why this got made is it was just like rolling off of George Lucas fame, and he was a huge fan of the comic books.
Yeah.
He wanted to do it as an animated film. And they're like, oh, it's too expensive. And so he's like, perfect. I've got industrial light and magic in my fucking backyard. We're just going to bang this thing out, which was just like, yeah.
It should have been Ralph Bakshi animating this.
Exactly.
Like,
oh, God, yeah. If this was like in vain of like Fritz the Cat or Coonskin.
Yeah, all his movies, the American Pop, I think he did. Like, he did a ton of stuff. It should have been, that's what it should have been. I mean, and it's just so weird that this came out in like 86. It's like Howard's was a big deal up until like 1974.
He was culturally important.
Absolutely.
As like a counterpoint to Donald Duck.
Yeah. For when George Lucas was in his like late 20s and still relevant to the culture. Yeah, exactly. And then he's like 80s. I loved Howard. No, people don't anymore. Like, they don't remember.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, you're right. It just completely missed the time.
Yeah.
To like be a counterpoint to anything.
It's a very weird thing because he's so like when you read the comics, it's very like satire based. It's parodying, like, he is Deadpool. Like what Deadpool's doing is like, I'm going to take all these tropes and parody it. Like, so he has like supervillains show up, and it's like his supervillain is Dr. Bong, who's a bell, but it's called Bong, and it's like all the head shop dudes, Dr. Bong, and he has like his hands, the thing that bongs his head, and that's his attack or whatever, or like he's moping or whatever, and then like just like an anthropomorphic salt like comes over and pours all over his wounds and stuff like that, and it's like weird satire and stuff like that, and parodying Marvel comics, and it's like what this movie should have been is parodying big budget weird movies.
Yeah, no, like the animated script is like super surreal apparently.
Okay,
like it played into all of that.
Yeah.
But I just want.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go for it.
I was just gonna say there's like I think there's only one I know of, but maybe 2 points where Howard actually does a direct address like Deadpool to the camera.
Sure.
It's like, I thought I was already having a bad day, some throwaway line like that.
Yeah. No, instead of the merc with the mouth, he's the mallard with the mouth. Like that's the whole thing.
He really kind of is the beginning of that, and then like in the 80s, She-Hulk in the comics was not like another breakout character who would speak to the audience.
Right.
And then Deadpool comes along even 10 years after. Like Howard's the 70s version, She-Hulk is the 80s version, and then like Deadpool's the 90s fourth wall breaker. There's a legacy there, but it's like more of that too. Like he should have been making dirty jokes to us.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's what threw me off on this movie a lot. It was like there was no focus. There's also this weird jump between objective and subjective point of view that just has no, I don't know. There's no style difference between them, so I can't tell what they were trying to do. It's too jumpy. There's no, I don't know. I'm critiquing it like it's an important film.
Hey, that's good. I mean, that's what that film degree is for.
Very serious.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
So like at the beginning when Howard, I didn't mean to cut you off earlier, Chuck.
Oh no, it's totally fine.
Okay. So when Howard gets sucked through the portal, his chair is shaking. We see it looks like an earthquake. He gets pulled through. After he gets to Beverly's, a truck drives by and his chair starts shaking again, and like everything in the room starts shaking, and it's like he has a flashback as if it did happen like 2 minutes before. Like it was really close. It was really weird.
Oh, he has like hardcore PTSD from it.
From
I actually wrote that in my notes. I was like, oh, he has wormhole PTSD.
Yeah, getting sucked across the cosmos PTSD.
But there's no like, I don't know, that we go from him doing a direct address to the camera to that to, or back to Subjective World where Beverly's in it. And
we should have gone more into Howard's head.
Something to clue me in, and there was a change.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Again, that's probably overly critiquing.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that this could have worked and could have been improved. It does have almost like this quality of like what you were saying, like, how did this happen? Like, it's like, I am a fan like you of that type of thing, but it has to be shocking. If it was like the first 10 minutes, the whole movie, I'm in, even if it's quote unquote bad. Like I'm so in if it's just like, this is the most bonkers shit I've ever seen. Like what? Like I'm in for that, but it becomes very normal.
Yeah.
Like a normal movie. And that's the mistake, I think. Like, I don't want this normal at all. What? It's a duck. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah. No, that's the turn that it takes. That, yeah, I agree there. Like that's kind of my only negative notes are like, yeah, too much flying. And then,
yeah,
honestly, yeah, I want that movie. I want the more crass, like just, smoking cigars, crushing Budweisers, and just like, I don't want necessarily all of the like 80s, like butt pinching and like titty grabbing and all that kind of like weird stuff. But I want that Howard. I want the rougher edged Howard.
Yeah.
And then it's, the fact that I get a little slice of that though is nice. And I think this is also like, and maybe my nostalgia has just like, it's so deep rooted. Maybe it just like the dark overlord tentacles, like it's just in me. But I think this is also just like it's just, you see them getting to have fun within their box, basically, is also what I take away from it. It's kind of like a Pee-wee's Playhouse kind of vibe in the sense of like, oh, they're like, you can feel the puppeteers and all the like animators and like all the just like, kind of behind the scenes perverts, so to speak. Just like,
they're definitely there.
Yeah. They're just like, they're seething. They're waiting for their chance.
They were having brainstorming sessions that were also circle jerks.
Oh yeah. No, another one of my favorite trivia things on this movie is, there's the scene where, which again, I'm going to come with the controversial takes this whole time. Beverly and Howard, they eventually, they come together like in a relationship.
Yeah, there's actual tension there, which is like, that's where I'm like, yes, that shouldn't happen. But I'm on board because
I'm on board too. I'm 110%
you're going for it because that's insane. So like that aspect of it, I'm like, what? Okay.
Oh, the biggest misstep in the movie is they should have fucked.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at though is like on that kind of fun puppetry thing is they were so concerned with getting the feather erection joke in this movie that they I looked this up, like the animatronics department spent months perfecting the feather boner on his head. Like,
nice.
yeah, so just like, I don't know. So I think that's why I can't let this movie go, is just because it does have like, there are people attached to this that have so much passion and fun with what they're doing.
That's one hell of a hill to die on.
It's all right,
It's for the trailer.
Exactly.
We also have Phil Tippett, though.
I know, exactly. That's also why I'm
again,
like, I can't let this movie go. There's Phil Tippett.
Phil Tippett monster. Yeah, the monster and all the animation and stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very crazy. Mad God. Have you seen it yet?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude. Blown away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that was like beyond competent and almost out of place was Phil Tippett's Portal Monsters.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, exactly. Like, and also that's also a thing that I took away from this movie too, is like, there's the fucking amazing laser battle at the end where it's just like, like it's like full on scanners, but like you actually see the effects.
Yeah.
And you have,
I love 80s lasers in movies.
I do too. That's what I have that in my notes. I said 80s lasers are the best lasers.
It's drawn on the frame still,
so
but
much
they figured it out.
It's so fun.
Yeah,
oh my God. That's also why like there's so much in this movie that I think
the Cosmos stuff looks great.
Yes.
When he gets sucked through, I was like, oh, this movie is well put together.
It must be nice to have ILM in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's also, I think, like, and maybe that's why I'm ready to die on this hill, is it's like, whether or not this is actually a good movie, it contains elements of every fucking thing that I love. We've got rotoscoping, we've got stop motion, we've got puppets, we've got animatronics, we've got very confusing sexual tension. We've got a theme song where they shout out the main character's name over and over again.
Yes.
Like, we've got Tim Robbins, which... Yeah, he's
the most over-the-top performance ever.
He was in a different movie.
Oh, yeah. He's awful in this. I will say that.
He's really bad. Like, is this one of his first roles?
I think so.
It's early. It's very early. It wasn't his first, but it's very early. But yeah, also,
like 5 years later, he'll be in Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah,
like,
and then Hudsucker, and then like what?
the player. Yeah.
No, someone saw Howard the Duck and was like, that's my Jacob's Ladder right there.
Yeah.
That guy can pull it off.
That guy can dance in a club and see a lizard tail under a lady's dress. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then, the Jeffrey Jones, right? Which
that was...
I mean, it's unpleasant always to see him, but he's in so many good movies. But like the makeup effect on him, truly actually disturbing to me, because I'm like, I think it's because it's him. But then they're making him more and more monstrous, and it's like, it's unsettling. It's definitely strange.
That has been a fun thing with this podcast so far too, is like we've covered 2 films with Jeffrey Jones, and in both he is playing the embodiment of evil.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
so he's in this he is Jennings, the like scientist who actually just builds the ray that sucks Howard in and whatnot.
Yeah, who's not evil.
Not evil in the slightest. But then he gets taken over by the Dark Lords, and like that full change that he goes through is so fun. Like just seeing every step of the way. It's almost like, I mean, obviously The Fly is better, but it's kind of comparable. It's comparable to like Jeff Goldblum in The Fly, because you see him and he's just like giving his giant exposition dump, like he's like, I don't know, I feel different, and he just looks a little sweaty. Then he's got like stage 2, he's got kind of the sugar guy from Men in Black vibes a little bit, like he's like doing a lot of physical comedy, which also like, I feel like I'm going to say this every episode now that we cover that's in possibly a comedy in the 80s, but like, God damn it, like, if anyone didn't have to be a child molester, like Jeffrey Jones.
I was definitely a fan. Definitely was a fan.
Yeah. A lot of people were.
Yeah. I mean, he has some sort of performance abilities for sure. Like there's something crazy going on with that performance. It is really weird. The voice and all that stuff is like actually like kind of freaky. Like it is like, what the fuck? Dude? Like, is this in this guy? Are they modulating him? Like, I don't know what's going on. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I saw an interview. It's all him.
Yeah,
I think it is all him. Yeah.
For sure.
What I was going to say is he also has the funniest fucking line in the entire movie.
What is the funniest line?
I don't know. I got some contenders here.
Okay, so one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when they go to Joe Roma's Cajun sushi house.
Yeah.
Like, it's just everything about this scene.
Talk about a mashup and not knowing which side of the road to be on.
Exactly. Yeah. No, but I mean, I saw that and I was like, wow, they're ahead of the curve with the the mixed
the fusion.
Yeah. Guy Fieri saw this and he was like, I got it.
Exactly. Oh my God. Actually, yeah, I wonder if, because, this movie ended some careers. I wonder if anyone could get some residual. It's like, Mr. Fieri, I have a bone to pick.
Texas sushi is pretty close to Cajun sushi.
But what I was going to say is my favorite scenes is they're there, Howard again. He's just a working stiff at the end of the day, too. That's also one of my, I'm going to go on a quick tangent.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of my favorite things about Howard, too, is that he's just a random middle-aged guy who got sucked into the situation.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I had a dream once, kid.
Yeah,
I wanted to be a musician. It's like,
it's got a whole backstory.
He went to med school and dropped out.
Yeah.
He worked construction, to like pay some bills, but he knew that wasn't the thing. So now he like writes soulless ad copy in the Duck universe.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now, the only thing he does now to just numb the pain is, crack open an issue of Play Duck every now and then and just crush some Duckwisers.
That goes back to the comics. He's always portrayed as like the most average person just from a duck world. That's it. It's just like he's just a normie dude.
I would just like to point out at this moment the weird proximity of the duck titties from the Playboy to the female duck in the bathroom.
Yeah, the actual.
I believe
like they could have spread those out a bit more, I think.
I don't think they could because I believe that. No. I believe that
they could have put more.
Yeah, exactly. My thought was that they got the budget. They're building puppets and sets and whatnot. I think that was when they were like, all right, guys, we're going to fucking go for it real quick.
Yeah.
We're just going to because that first 10 minutes, like I want to stay in Duck World. That first 10 minutes is a Ralph Bakshi movie. Like he's, we got all the like fun, stupid puns, like the posters and you see his like family photos and shit. There's a photo of him like from, this is like 86. So this is like probably a photo from like
he's
a few years ago. He's like got a pot farm.
Weed.
From Duck Vietnam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then like, he turns on the Duck television. There's like a weird duck ad for Jock Itch. They just kept going. They're like, no. We're going to throw everything in and tell Universal that hey man, we need more money. We kind of blew the load here. And then it's like, that way they get to keep that. Cause it's like Universal's like, well, fuck, that's already like $10 million. So it's like, I guess we got to make this a $35 million movie.
With RoboCop, the last scene that they had to shoot was Murphy's death because they knew that the studio could never cut his death. So they waited. Yeah. And then it's like, well, we have to. We ran out of money, but we have to.
He's got to die.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yep. So some brilliant production there.
Yes.
But the hard backtrack back to what I was going to say is they're in Joe Roma's Cajun sushi. And I know it's so fun to say.
I was trying to get away from there.
But they just quick, like, they're in a panic and they just like, I'm like, are you going to order something? Sure. They order some food. Eggs show up.
Oh, yeah.
And Howard goes on like a whole thing of like, holy shit, like, get this away from me. Like, please get this out of my face. This is like, it's like, this is like if you just brought some fucking fetuses for me to look at. This is terrible.
I wish he had said that.
I know. Well, that's our movie that we're going to write.
Look at me.
But anyways, some truckers come in. They hassle poor Beverly, who just, all she does is just get like almost sexually assaulted the whole movie.
Yeah. Poor Leah.
Yeah. Howard, they're almost boyfriend and girlfriend at this point. He stands up for her. Like a whole thing breaks out. The entire restaurant turns into a violent riot. And they're like about to cook Howard.
Yeah.
And Beverly is like, poor Beverly is just written so shittily. But she's like full damsel in distress. Like, we got to do something. Jennings, help. And he's just there as the Dark Overlord. Like, it's the only moment of weakness and defeat that he has in the entire movie. He's just, she took my eggs.
yeah.
And he's just like, that's like the main reason. Like he's just like, I was really looking forward to that meal.
Yeah, he doesn't care about Howard. That's why he destroys all those people.
Exactly. He like, that's kind of why is he just is like, all right, like human beings deserve to be eviscerated.
Yeah, you're right. It's a pretty good line.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like I'm going to get a little bit of a, put a little bit of a political touch on this podcast every time I bring this up. But also, oh my God, like the whole cop scene, like the cops come and just like arrest Howard for being a duck. Like that's his crime.
Yeah. Oh.
And they like pat him down and like physically assault him and try and rip his skin off because they think it's
the cops are not portrayed nice in this.
No.
I mean, but this is coming from look at who Howard used to be. He was a conscientious objector, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so were the guys who made Howard the Duck and George Lucas.
Yeah.
You know,
Fucking fascist.
Exactly.
George Lucas has created the empire. You know, and people don't understand that that's bad guys.
But no, it's incredible. They fucking outwit the cops, get away. There's an insane car chase with the police. The Dark Lord literally eviscerates, like melts a cop to goo with finger lasers and then blows up an entire line of police cars.
Yeah.
And just like, it's as if the Blues Brothers were just, like a hyper violent space comedy. Like, I don't know.
Howard should have just been one of the 3 Blues Brothers.
Exactly.
I think I've seen that comic. Pretty sure I've seen that somewhere.
I'm sure he's had the sunglasses on. I mean, Howard's doing all the parodies.
I think he's actually in Men in Black.
That would make sense.
I'm pretty sure he's in there.
Oh, another favorite line aside from the she took my eggs is I think it's in the bar fight when Howard it's actually back in Joe Roma's. He's fighting the like good old boys, like the rednecks who come and like hit on Beverly. Mm-hmm. And right before he throws one of his duck foo chops, which he does, he's a master of duck foo.
Oh, duck
yes.
foo.
It comes up a couple times.
He says, "This one's for you, cracker." Which is also just like, oh, hell yeah. Like, just because his feathers are white doesn't mean he's a shitty, like, cis white dude. Like, yeah.
We just needed more of that, man. It's just more of, like, him just being a real cool dude.
Yeah. I mean, no duck is an island. That's another quote.
I guess that's true, yeah.
I have so much goddamn fun every time I watch this movie. Yeah, I think also like in a depressing way, maybe because I am getting older, maybe I also related more to middle-aged Howard a little bit. I was like, oh yeah, man.
Yeah, you don't want to, no. Run away from those feelings, Chuck.
I will try.
Yeah, because what does he say when he's like busting out the play duck? It's just like so sad. It's like, well, what are we doing here tonight? Like, it's just like, that's your night. Yeah. That's the night.
He's got a phone message from another duck asking him to come over and she's ready to go.
I know.
He's just so beaten down by the day though, you know?
God, I guess by life, by mundanity.
Fucking marketing, dude.
I really do want the Duck World movie though. I mean, it would have been too expensive, but like, that's where the magic was.
No, like
Leah Thompson should have gone there.
Also, yeah, like fuck George Lucas. Like this should have been Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Like if Peter Jackson would have been like a fan and just like reading it in New Zealand, been like, oh,
yeah, 80s Peter Jackson, just insane, over the top, insane.
Like if he made Howard the Duck instead of Meet the Feebles,
yeah,
that might be my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, no, it should have been. I mean, you could have given this to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what would Verhoeven have done with this?
My God.
The subversive nature of all of it.
He would have done a little more honest depiction of the comic book, I think.
Yeah, probably.
It's kind of right up his alley.
He is a duck. So the duck is the man.
Inside, speaking of the diner again, like Jeffrey Jones with the glow around him, rotoscope, that's what I remember from watching it as a kid. That's like the only thing. That and the semi-truck coming to a stop and chirping. Like, it's weird, but those are
just burned in.
Like, there's the duck, but I don't remember most of this movie, dude.
We need to bring back rotoscoping. It is one of the most...
Oh, it's still done.
I know, but it is one of the most, like, just every time I see it, I just melt into goo. I'm like, oh, perfect. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you could
just like a cop.
Exactly. But no, like it could be like a movie about painting a house and we're watching paint dry and then all of a sudden it's like, this is taking too long. And then they shoot like rotoscope lasers to dry the paint. And I'd be like, that's the greatest film
This is a great movie. Wow, that house painting drama is good.
Exactly.
No, I'm with you. I'm full on like any of the full rotoscoped movies like Heavy Metal, or Fire and Ice. Like I would love to revisit those. Those are Heavy Metal. I think would be a good one to revisit.
The Keanu Reeves one.
Scanner Darkly.
Scanner Darkly is one of my favorite.
That's a great movie.
Favorite rotoscope films. Yeah.
This is totally off topic for this podcast, but Linklater made like a newer rotoscope movie, and I haven't seen it yet. Came out last year.
Yeah, I saw. You're right.
Yeah, it takes place during like the Apollo 13th like launching and stuff like that. It's like it's just a Linklater movie. It's like cool kids in the 70s having a good time, and like things are occurring.
Wow, his third rotoscoped. Yeah. Thank you, Linklater. Also, he should have done Howard the Duck.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like Slacker, though. I was gonna say. It's just Howard walking around Austin, Texas. What am I doing in Austin? I don't know.
And then there's just like a scene for no reason of like two women smoking a joint playing hacky sack with no dialogue.
And he's like, this is what you do here? Ain't that bad.
Some lines, mostly Tim Robbins, are what bothered me.
Oh, he's a terrible character.
So like when he comes to the show towards after like the middle of the movie, and he's like, hi, sorry I missed the show. I came to watch you undress though.
Oh yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
No, he's awful.
No sex right now. I'm working.
Right now. I'm working.
I have that
That's
written
what's
too.
next.
Yeah. No,
on what planet?
I don't know.
One of my biggest critiques, if you're not like completely rewriting the thing, is just make Jennings and Tim Robbins the same character.
Yeah.
Because literally, like, there's a whole bit too where like when Beverly discovers Howard and she fucking drags him up the stairs in a trash can or like a trash bag to go like see Phil and be like, oh, dude, like, check this out. Like, you're a scientist. Da, da, da. He ends up being an assistant, which is, I don't know how she doesn't know that he's just a lab assistant.
Just a lab assistant, yeah.
But if like she was bringing him to head honcho and then head honcho's like, oh, aliens, da, da, da. And then we get a scene of him actually doing some like 80s coordinates on the laser. He gets hit with the laser. And then we like build the tension of like, oh no, when's he going to reveal that he's the big bad alien? And then it's like, you have that thing of like hero and villain in the same room, inches away from each other, not knowing. And then all of a sudden,
this is what someone would write if they weren't huffing carbon monoxide.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, they're forcing the whole like overlord stuff. As far as I know, none of that's in the comics. It's like the movie should have been Howard just being their manager.
Yeah. No, that's the movie I want to see. Yeah. I want to see basically just like Jem and the Holograms or like Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah.
But for no reason, the manager's a duck.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. That's the movie.
And that's what should have happened. The movie should have stopped being about any sort of duck thing. And then like people should have stopped being like, you're a duck. Cause he's like famous or something. Yeah, exactly. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I'm not being enriched by my own music. He's like, I don't need to make my music. I'm helping you make my music. And that's what enriches me. And it's like, boom, character arc. Wow. Yeah, Howard has learned.
He's learned that he's also using all his skills, like all of that mundane bullshit that he's been shoveling his entire life. It's like, oh my God, he's a marketing whiz. Of course he knows how to sell this.
I know how to sell ad copy of your great new album.
Exactly.
Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
They could still have written the song too.
Exactly.
About our manager, who everyone loves. That's not this movie, though.
No.
No, it is not.
We've been doing that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So I have what I think might be the biggest crime in the film is some of the music. Especially after Beverly and Howard meet, there's that 80s synth pop with vocals that's describing what they're feeling. Like it's a musical.
Oh, my God. That went over my head.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go watch it again.
I will. Don't worry.
You will.
But it's this thing that happened in the 80s a lot where they would break away to some it is like musical theater lyrics. It's not deep, it's not clever. It's just this is what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Why don't you look at me? This kind of
I blame Tom Cruise.
Is that like the scene? Is that the scene
right after the first like attack on Beverly? Where they meet.
Because there's a scene that I thought is actually like done fairly well. Is the like when it's like okay bye, and then he's like in the rain.
That's at the end. That's that music. That's
okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. Like I wasn't paying attention to the music, but like the way the shot is framed and stuff, how it's like he steps out. It's raining. She looks over, sees him. It's raining. He steps away from the rain. She steps back. Mm-hmm. He steps forward again. Like there's like this little dance there.
Yeah, the cinematographer obviously had access to clean air.
Yeah,
as opposed to everybody.
That's one of the parts that I thought I was like, this works, and it goes to what you were saying with like the core of this really is the romance.
Oh, that's
like,
it.
Yeah.
You're like, that's the insane part of it. Is that you're like, man, I just hope it works out for those kids.
Oh, I really do. No, exactly. Like, I honestly, like, maybe I just, like, I mean, you know, the pandemic did a lot to us. And, like, maybe, like, watching this again, I was like, like, honestly, like, my heart was like, oh, yeah. Like, it melted a little when, like, again, going back to the fucking sushi fight, she's like, get your hands off of him. Like, and I left that pregnant pause for a purpose, but get your hands off of him. He's my boyfriend.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it's like, oh.
And everyone
like
stops.
Everyone's like, oh, but she admits it. She finally like, because there's the whole bedroom scene when they're fooling around and it's really fun and weird. She like, because he's like very nervous. He's like, oh, no. Like, this is wrong. This is weird. And then she just kind of like, oh, relax, Ducky. I'm just messing with it. You know, I'm just ruffling your feathers. And it's just like, oh, no, she wasn't.
No, she was not.
No, exactly. But I mean, she confirms it in herself.
Sure.
Because, you know, it's kind of like, it's like if this was just like any movie where, you know, you have two human beings who are just like, oh, you know,
come
like,
in the bed and let's watch David Letterman.
Exactly.
And he's like, oh, okay.
This may be just because I'm completely dead inside, but I felt no romantic.
Oh man,
I know that's what they were going for.
I've been through a lot.
I couldn't.
Fucking bumper stickers make me cry sometimes.
Well, I'm right there with you, but for this, I just couldn't put them together.
Yeah.
Their fake ass fight in front of the museum.
Oh yeah.
Oh Jesus.
I did.
That was pretty
Leah
toxic.
Thompson carries a lot in this.
I have her written down as winning the film because she makes it through the most unscathed.
Yeah,
I think.
Oh, I mean, she's saying terrible lines, delivering them as best as they possibly could be done. She is the heart of the movie. It's not fucking Howard.
No,
like,
she's
it's
also
her.
written as the weakest character too.
Yeah.
Like she's like, you know, constantly the damsel in distress, like help me.
Yeah.
But she still carries
She's
everything.
so charismatic. She still sells everything.
I have the article where she describes how this movie ruined her film career,
Oh yeah.
but she still like soldiered on and like did whatever she could. But yeah, this was bad for everybody in it.
Yeah, I saw a thing that it was bad for everybody except for
What, Tim Robbins?
no, pausing to get my notes. Ed Gale.
Oh
the
yeah,
little person.
yeah.
Ed Gale.
We didn't have to show his face.
No, but he killed and he got work because of this. So he went directly from this into Spaceballs
Okay.
because
Who's he in Spaceballs?
I don't know. I have to look. I'll have to pull it up. But
That's Mel Brooks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks saw Howard the Duck and was just like, oh, I need that guy.
Yeah.
And he was just like, and he literally, Mel Brooks is quoted as like, you were in Howard the Duck. You deserve to be in this.
Oh, I did look that up. He said anybody who worked on
anybody
Howard
who's
the
in-
Duck could be in Spaceballs.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So, so it's me and Mel Brooks versus the world, I guess.
I don't know if he wants them in the movie for the same reasons.
Probably not.
He's like, you were in the movie that I'm trying to make that they unintentionally made.
Exactly. But then he went on to be Chucky in Child's Play.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Good
Yeah.
for him. Good for him.
So he like killed it. I have to like triple check that he's in all of them, but he's definitely in
Good
Child's
body
Play.
language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good body language. That scene where he first comes alive in Child's Play is freaky.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yep.
so, and he can work with animatronics. So
Yeah.
wow.
No, he's proven it. He's dedicated. The suit was so miserable to wear, and like the vision quality was so poor that he would literally block backwards.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like they would block scenes backwards so that he didn't bump into anybody.
Wow.
But that being said, like, you know, we already touched on it. The suit works. The animatronics all work. George Lucas's first idea was to have the entire everything just be a robot, like just be fully animatronic.
What? Like
But this is
Leah
like-
Thompson? Like
No, just Howard.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'm like the whole
Calm
movie's
down, Robert.
animatronics.
I would watch that too.
What a movie.
Exactly.
What a genius.
Dude,
George.
weird trip to Chuck E. Cheese, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just Five Nights at Freddy's in
I am
1985.
the Overlord. Art.
Have another slice of our delicious pepperoni pizza.
Yeah. So, all of Howard being, I mean, that would have been horrible. Like,
Oh, it would have been horrific.
even R2D2 couldn't have been that. So he should have known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that never would work.
But they, all of the models they built either failed and then a ton of them just exploded,
Oh, okay.
which is amazing. Like, so you're just like, and action. And it's like, all right, Leah, I need you to go in for the kiss. And all of a sudden it just starts fizzing
Fire.
and smoking.
This is his follow-up to Star Wars, too, because it's like 77, Star Wars, 80, Empire Strikes Back, 83, Return of the Jedi, 86.
Oh, yeah.
Howard the Duck.
And, and the stuff I watched, he was fucking tired of Star Wars. He was ready to quit movie making.
Sure.
And he kind of did.
I mean, a long time.
Took a step back, yeah. So he was like a wet blanket on this entire thing.
Oh, yeah.
He's also riding that like high though too. I mean, not his high, but the studio high.
I can do anything.
He can do anything. So yeah, he can make this like fucking cigar smoking duck comic a thing for kids.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be amazing.
Just put his name on it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, you guys may hate this movie, but whether or not you hate it, you know, some amazing things did come out of it. I don't know if you know this, but this movie, you know, didn't do so hot. It didn't necessarily tank, but it didn't do great. But yeah, a lot of money was spent. They like barely broke even, and George Lucas saw it as a loss. Yeah. So he was trying to recuperate some funds. He sold his newly created CGI animation department off.
Pixar.
Yeah. As I say, he sold it to his good buddy Steve Jobs.
Shed off like a bunch of feathers.
So Howard got Steve Jobs in charge of Pixar.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, Howard the Duck is solely responsible for Toy Story, for Finding Nemo.
I can imagine him in the boardrooms.
Yeah.
Like,
guess it's darkest before dawn, right?
What about a movie with the toys about the toys? How about that? You know, we made a movie about a duck.
Yeah.
We can do it again.
Yeah.
I've got the Razzie Awards.
Ooh.
Did they start the Razzies for this movie?
Almost. So we got the Golden Raspberry for Worst Picture, Worst Screenplay, Worst New Star, Worst Visual Effects.
Wow. Worst visual effects? I don't think that's right.
That's fucking rude.
I agree.
The Razzies sound like a bunch of assholes anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Oh, usually they are. Like, I feel like a lot of the time they'll just like, especially if there's like any kind of like tabloidy thing, they'll just attack the living shit out of something because it'll like, you know, get attention to the award show.
Yeah.
So for example, like there's like, you know, Ben Affleck and J-Lo. I'm not defending Gigli by any means, but it's like, it's not the worst goddamn movie ever, but they will like throw every award at
because they're famous and
exactly.
Yeah, they're just trying to get attention. I mean, no, not the visual effects. That's silly.
I know, that's just rude.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I want to give the Doctor Who TARDIS Award for an interior that is way cooler than it should be for Beverly's Loft.
Oh yeah, why is every fucking 80s movie filmed in like, why is it just like, so they live in a loft?
So now I can do my Tim Robbins doing Donald the Duck to Howard the Duck impression.
Yeah.
The one joke where I'm like, Disney's going to get you. But now Disney did get you, Howard. Disney owns Howard. Yep. Disney owns that movie.
Yep.
It is very interesting. The Star Wars to Marvel, and then now they're both Disney.
Yeah. Does that mean that are we recording again?
We never stopped.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Got you pissing and everything.
Oh, beautiful. That's for the Patreon exclusive. Bring the mic on in. That's for top tier donators. But no, I wonder then what if that was Disney's long con this entire time?
Yeah.
That was their...
It was like, we don't, you know, it's like, yeah, we'll make some money off some, you know, comics here and there. Like, I don't know, maybe Iron Man will take off. Who's to say? But we'll silence that fucking duck once and for all.
Yeah. It's Donald, and that's it. No more Howard. They tricked him. That's how they got him in the end of the movie. They're like, it's Donald.
Michael Eisner pouring out a 40 over Walt's grave going, we got him, Walt.
Yeah.
We got him.
I heard, I don't even know if to tell this story. I don't know who it was, but it was on the Mark Maron podcast. And somebody said that they went to the Disney, or the whatever studio. Who did the movie? Was it?
Oh, Universal.
It was Universal. So they were at the Universal back area or something, like, and they were like, it's like the Indiana Jones, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, like endless rows of boxes from all the movies that they've ever made. Yeah. And they were like, and I went back in the corner and Howard was there. He wasn't in a box or anything. He was just lying there. Oh. And it was so sad. And I was like, I wanted to take him out of there. I don't forget who this was that was there, but they're like, I saw him. I saw Howard. He was lying just in a corner in a warehouse. Poor Howard.
Well, that's incredibly sad.
I know. You can cut that out. I'm sorry.
No, they're keeping that one in. That's
Patreon
great.
exclusives,
Exactly.
pissing and sad Howard stories that I don't know the actual story. Who was it? I don't know.
Sounds like it might be Adam Savage.
Yeah.
He has a lot of those stories.
Could have been anybody.
Yeah.
Could have been anybody.
So I'm out of notes. I don't know how much more you have, Chuck. If there's anything else you want to say.
I'm just running on pure passion at this point. I kind of ran through most of my notes, except for
sick fucker.
Speaking of being a sick fucker, one thing I did want to touch on that nobody brought up somehow is why does Howard the Duck have an used, possibly at least, if not used, an open condom in his wallet?
Yeah, just like
And why is her reaction, "Oh, Howard"?
Yeah.
Not like, "Ew."
Exactly. Why would you not touch it and then be like, "Oh fuck, space rabies! I forgot about those. Space rabies, space rabies,
Also,
space rabies."
we didn't know in the 80s what we know about ducks now and what their penises are like.
Yeah.
Like a duck has a 12-inch exploding penis.
Yeah.
In
It's
real
like a
life.
weird corkscrew.
It fills every orifice, like disturbing. Like it's barbed. Like this is not good.
No.
Not good. And he's going to have not the same penis, but an evolved version of that penis. Now, maybe their form of circumcision is debarbing the duck penises, but his 12 inches long, right? Like he could have made a joke. That's a missed joke opportunity.
There's also the fact that his erection feathers are on his head.
Yes. Which is just
Puzzling.
It's a joke. It's not a real erection, right? It's just he's like puffing up. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm ready. Rah!" Like I guess.
He's just hot and bothered.
Yeah. He's so prudish. He's like, oh.
Yeah, he's just like that classic braggart warrior character of just like, it's like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna do all the dirtiest, filthiest things you've ever thought of. You can't even fathom what's gonna happen. Oh, you're actually gonna no, we're not.
I'm not into bestiality. I'm sorry.
Exactly. It was all a front.
Yeah, he debates it. All that part is just so strange. And I very clearly remember that as a child because I liked her. I liked her in Back to the Future. I knew it was her.
Yep.
And then I was like, the fact that it's weird that she's in bed with a duck just went over my head. I never thought that was odd. And that he's like, I'm starting to like Earth or whatever. He's like, okay.
I do love too that Tim Robbins and Jeffrey Jones walk in on the final goodnight kiss too. It's like
what's going on here?
Do we? Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like do we acknowledge? Do we just?
Yeah, I would have just been like, "Hello, business."
Yeah,
sorry.
So Beverly, you left something at the lab. Yeah, I think we're gonna come back.
Yeah, I mean, this is a movie.
Yeah. I also like to think that this movie maybe paved the way for a bunch of other generations of perverts and weirdos who just were like, oh, it's like they almost got away with it.
Yeah, maybe.
What if I push the envelope a little bit and really get away with it? Have you ever seen
Who's the Children of Howard?
Splice?
Splice?
Have you ever seen Splice?
Oh,
that's a movie.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to ruin Splice for you, but I will give you, I will say this, very strong Howard the Duck elements that we've just spoken about with humanoid and non-humanoid in the same kind of tense relationship.
Got it. Okay.
But yeah, it's Adrian Brody, and I can't remember the actress's name, but it's Adrian Brody and his wife basically trying to crack the human genome and trying to figure out cloning and all this kind of stuff to basically cure some sort of disease. I don't know. It's a very it's a very bad science fiction movie.
Sure.
And so what they do is they almost crack the code, but they clone this humanoid, this almost human sapien thing that's not quite right.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a tail and shit.
Sure.
And they raise it like their child.
Oh, and then it gets a romance.
And then romance happens, and then a very much not a romance happens. But either way, they take that Howard the Duck seed and they're like, oh, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
It's they grab that ball off the field and they run all the way to the end zone.
Isn't that what The Fly is? Also 1986.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're never getting out of this time warp, man.
No. This is where culture died.
Exactly.
This time period never evolved past that. You can't watch Billy Madison. That's like a future movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, we won't understand it. But yeah, Beverly's Loft, man. I would kill for a place that big that looked like Ninja Turtles lived there. You know, with all the neon lights. And,
do you want to go to Cleveland?
You mean San Francisco?
Yeah. It's Cleveland.
Cleveland. I know. It was so strange. Like, why does it have to be Cleveland? Like, they're so stuck. Like, too. Like, it's like you see signs for Ohio, and he's wearing like an Ohio like OSU like sweater and whatnot, and it's just like, all right. It's like,
I think it might be from the comics.
Yeah,
is it?
It's a comic book thing.
Because it's just like it's fucking Ohio.
Yeah.
Like they're just like, where would he be? It's mundane.
Exactly.
He's not in New York with like the Avengers and shit.
Yeah.
Like I think was the idea. I think, but yeah, I think he's just from or he lands in Ohio because it's like he's average. Ohio's average.
Most average.
I think that's
like,
the joke. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Sorry, Ohioans.
Sorry.
You know where you're from though.
But not a single frame of this film was shot in Cleveland.
No.
If you look at the street scenes, all the California license plates on the cars, the recognizable San Francisco streets. There's a 9th Avenue. They found that's like it's spoken like in the movie, like that's 9th Avenue and whatever. But yeah, they found 9th Avenue in San Francisco and shot in front of the sign. And then there's a lot of stuff in Petaluma. The bar that they go to. I don't know if you've been downtown recently, but the old mill across from the train station that they've turned it into a Hilton now. But like that old brick building, that's in those background shots.
Okay. Oh, wow.
In Howard, yeah.
Well, so it was George Lucas returning there.
Oh, yeah. No, there's 10
years after American Graffiti.
The cars, when they jump into the river, that's downtown Petaluma. That's the river basin.
Okay.
Exactly. I was like,
And all the stuff, all the flying stuff that you guys love, that's up and down Highway 101 along the river, like in Lakeville, that road.
Wow.
So it was all just like Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade. It was all shot in Lucas's backyard. Basically.
Yeah. Marin County, Sonoma County.
Yep.
Wow. Howard was here.
Yeah.
He was.
I wasn't born though, but he was
I'm
here.
actually I'm gonna go down to Nicasio where they were flying and like recreate that shot with my drone. And I'll put that up for I'll put it on Instagram.
So it'll also be too long.
Very much. Yeah. It's gonna be very boring and
you're going to be Tim Robbins yelling.
I'm going to superimpose them on top.
You were a duck. You flew once.
I also love that at that point too, like they're being pursued by the police and they're flying, and he's like, he's a duck terrorist. He's like trying to like sell him up the river, basically. No.
Yeah, that guy is just, who is that guy? What a spineless worm.
No, he's like, that's also why he's a very unnecessary character, because it just like, not only is he, because there could be a thing there too. It could be like a love triangle thing. Like if it's like, oh, this is like a guy who's interested in Beverly.
Yeah.
He's not. He's like dating a member of her band.
Who's not a character.
Who's not a character at all. It's literally
the band
just like,
is there to be like, you're pretty cool,
yeah,
Mr.
exactly.
Duck. And that's it. And he's like,
Yep.
Yeah, they're like not even a foil. Like they're like less than a foil. Yeah. And then.
Yeah, you're right.
So he's there for that. And then he's also there to just basically see Howard and view him as like, oh, this is my chance at fame. This is it. Like we're going to, because he says several times like, oh, we're going to get on Carson with this. We're
I could have been a contender.
Exactly.
He says that.
He says that line. Yeah.
He's motivated to be famous from the beginning.
Oh, that's true. I do remember one of the scenes that I did remember as a kid was when he throws open the like office door and he's like, I have a nothing. Ha 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 ha. Nothing. Ha 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 ha. And then I'm like, wouldn't you get like fired? Like I remember even as like a kid, I'd be like, you would get fucking fired. You just interrupted all the old men in their suits and just screamed at them and then like left. Like they would be like, who the fuck was that guy? Get him out of my lab. He's an assistant. He's not even one of the scientists. Get him out of here. Like,
yeah, they're like, hey, have you been, cleaning up the shit? Because there's some shit over there. Like there's that joke in the movie. So yeah, he's very expendable.
Yeah. Ha, nothing. Like, oh, whoa.
Yeah, you're right. He could have not been in the movie.
Yeah.
He could have been folded into Jones's
No, exactly.
character.
Also, yeah,
Yeah.
Tim Robbins, he's not great in this, but he's a very capable actor.
Very
We
much so,
Could have
yeah.
just gotten rid of Jeffrey Jones, and then this movie would be like completely clean of any kind of tainting, other than actual, Howard the Duck.
And other than the movie itself, it would be clean. Yeah.
But it would pass the Bechdel test of is this movie
No,
canceled?
it would have made more sense, yeah, if like the lab assistant gets bombarded with the laser, he was their friend, now he's
Exactly.
not their friend, but he also he's still in there, so he helps them at one point. He's not pure evil, even the Overlord's not evil, or who knows?
And then abducting Beverly is more motivated because there's a whole
Sure.
bit where Jeffrey Jones just takes Beverly for no reason other than like your princess is in another castle, basically.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that happens. And
Yeah,
so
he doesn't care. He could have at any point the character of the what is it, Overlord?
the Dark Overlord.
Dark Overlord. It's like doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like because he's just like clowning around with them for a long time.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm gonna open a portal to a demon realm, like demon universe. They're coming here. You're all fucked. End of the world. And you're like, what? Like, where did that come from? You were just like hanging out in the truck. Why'd you go to the Cajun spot? Like, what? Why were you there?
Because they were buddies for a second, you
Yeah.
know, like we were having a goof. It was great.
That's fine, but like, yeah, what is this motivation? He just decided, you know what? These people fucking suck. I'm gonna bring my demon buddies.
They took my eggs.
Yeah,
I was gonna say no. I think it's all
that's
motivated
the
by the eggs.
That would be great. I mean, if they had leaned into that,
Yeah.
like, so I will destroy your world, and then he just becomes a villain. You're like, wow, okay,
He had bad restaurant service, so he
Yeah.
destroys the planet.
yeah.
Yeah, I just had the thought that somebody made a puppet with duck titties,
Mm-hmm.
took sexy photos of those duck titties,
Yeah.
printed it out on paper
Yeah.
into a magazine
To make the prop,
to make the
Yeah.
prop
yeah.
to be filmed.
yeah,
That happened.
yeah.
The world's a sick place, Luke. That's all I'm gonna say.
The world's a twisted place. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a movie that predates this. This also, is a fun rabbit hole to go down. And I apologize for people who are
Rabbit
gonna do this.
titties?
No, no.
Oh,
Okay.
on Easter? What?
I know,
Yeah.
right? Oh yeah, we're also filming on Easter. But there's a movie from I think it's 1974, and it's called Let My Puppets Come. And it is the first
Okay.
ever puppet. It's not a puppet porno, but it's sold as like a puppet XXX movie.
Wow.
And it would like play alongside. It was like the gag reel. So it's like you go like in 74 or something like that to go see Deep Throat.
Yeah.
And this is
Right.
like
The
this
B
is
movie
the
or whatever.
like the warm up. This is like the relief. This is like the because Deep Throat was like a cultural phenomenon. So you've got like people who wouldn't
Yeah.
normally be in porno theaters going and seeing.
Yeah. That was a big thing at the time. Real celebrities were like seen in line going to go see these movies and stuff.
But Let My Puppets Come is a movie that is, it's just like, there's no sex. There's no physical, like there's like, I think like one pair of human boobs in the entire movie. But the entire movie is just like what this should have been. Like it's basically like, it's just some puppets who are like, we're a bunch of film executives and like trying to figure out what to do for our next movie. And then it's like, oh, XXX is catching on. Like, haven't you heard of this film Deep Throat? Like, da-da-da. We should do one of those. And so then it's just puppets.
These are
and it's
puppets in the boardroom. Meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's like, it's just the Muppets trying to make a porno.
Which sounds like a great movie.
Fucking bizarre. It's great. It was, I don't know, don't quote me on this, but it was available on YouTube during the shutdown, like during 2020. It was on there. I don't know if it's still on there. It's totally worth it. I mean, like, if it's still free, it's worth a watch. I will say that because it's super tame too. Like for anyone who's listening, who's like, oh, Chuck's like, trying to get me into some, like, I see why he likes Howard the Duck. He's into, but
I mean, for that, there's the scene in Team America.
exactly. It's like, that's what I'm saying. Like it's Team America level sexuality.
Yeah.
Like,
so those South Park guys aren't that smart. They
No.
stole it from Let My Puppets Come.
exactly. But I was just the whole point of that tangent was like, oh, you think the duck titties are bad? You should see like, there's guys like a decade before this, like cutting out foam penises to like, have be like a quick puppet gag.
Right.
And I think that's good.
Someone whittling and like sewing basically.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sewing genitals onto a puppet. This is
Exactly.
my job.
I am edgy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would still be edgy today, I think.
Yeah, there's certain things that never lose their charm.
Yeah.
It's still like, it's weird. Why'd you make okay, we're just gonna, you got people together to film a felt cock. Great.
All right. So,
Yeah. I think
wrapping
we're
up.
kind of there, yeah.
Wrapping up. Robert, at the end of every episode, we try to determine whether or not we want to let a film live, monitor it, or just outright kill it. How do you feel about Howard the Duck, the film?
I can't look at you, Chuck.
I'll look away. I'll turn away.
It's like,
Don't look, Lenny. Don't look.
he's my dad, Pa. Let me do it. I'm sorry. I don't think anything is lost if this movie's not here anymore. I don't recommend it to anybody. I recommend the first 10 minutes.
Okay.
Because it is like, it's nuts.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of becomes a movie. So, no, I'm sorry. I mean, look, we're never going to watch a movie where I'm like, fuck this. This shouldn't be. So
Right.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah,
Like,
don't worry.
that's-
We're never gonna. There's no
that's
nostalgia
crazy.
for Birth of a Nation. We're never.
yeah.
That's never gonna be on the show.
No.
Spoiler alert for anyone who's listening. You know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be like, just this should just take this from reality. Like,
Right.
no, it's just like, if you really want to go see Howard the Duck, you already have. Like, you have, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my answer. Bye, Howard.
Yeah. I don't see myself watching this ever again, but I would not necessarily recommend people to watch it. But if somebody was curious, somebody was, I don't know, what's the word, masochistic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd tell them to go watch this, check it out, and, get ready for cringe.
Smoke those bowls.
Yeah,
smoke those bowls
smoke those
beforehand. I did. It helped, but it didn't fix. It helped.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily kill this. I would monitor it, but I'm never gonna watch it again, unless it's Chuck holding me down, forcing me to watch it.
I won't kill Howard. Yeah, I'm not killing him. And,
Yeah.
yeah,
We'll let it live.
We know.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. I will go on my quick little tirade.
That's fine, man. I also don't begrudge anybody else liking the film.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no.
and I don't begrudge you guys for hating it. Like, I get it. I'm not like,
Yeah,
I'm very
no.
self-aware. Like, I understand.
Right.
I'm not like,
You're like, I'm different, and I don't expect you
No,
to
exactly.
be on my page of this book.
yeah.
Yes, other pages maybe, not here.
No, I get it. You guys like take numbers and then, put an addition sign and then they make more numbers. And like, I just don't do that. I do other things over here. Like,
Yeah.
I get, yeah. No, I'll defend this movie in the sense that it's a lot of fun. It's got everything that I love. It's got puppets and animatronics and Phil Tippett animations. And it's got a bunch of things. Obviously, a lot of these things have been and will be done better in the future as well. But if you're looking for your introduction to weird and kind of offbeat and kind of like, oh, this is like mainstream, like, because it was like, this was released
An
in
attempt at mainstream, yes.
exactly like
PG-13
it's PG,
or PG,
which is fucking wild,
Bizarre.
bizarre. But well, I digress. If you're looking to like dip your toe into something odd and strange and fun, then yeah. Like, this is a good, like, literally put your, webbed foot in this pond. And then, if you're looking to go further, there's so much. I mean, yeah, Howard the Duck is fun, but there's so much better out there that does the same thing. Like, if you're looking for weird, fucked up puppetry, there's Meet the Feebles. If you're looking for strange interspecies relationships, there's Splice, which I mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
And then if you're looking for kind of more snark with like a mixture of kind of a weird children's entertainment, there's all kinds of fun stuff out there like Wonder Chosen and
Or just watch Pee Wee Herman.
just watch Pee Wee Herman. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got a lot of that energy, and it's like, I wish this movie was more manic. That's like,
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it needed, I think.
I wish it was wilder too. I just wish it picked a lane.
No,
And
exactly.
either
Like,
gone hard or just been a kid's thing.
That's the whole
I would
thing
have
is,
watched
like-
either one.
Yeah.
I love this movie, but I'm not saying this is the greatest example of this
Sure.
by any means. Like, yeah, I'll let it live. I'll let it live on my DVD shelf. It's going to collect some dust, but it's still there,
I like him. I like
Exactly.
Howard. I'd buy it if it was like a couple bucks, like a Howard action figure or something. Put
Yeah,
him on
why
the
not?
shelf. Like
Sure.
like he's a Like, I'm cool with his presence,
Yeah.
you know? I want him to break free,
Exactly.
you know? Like, let him fly. Let Howard fly.
I mean, he evolved past that, but yeah.
Yeah, no, let him fly again.
And not in a 12-minute police chase.
Yeah,
No,
in a
no.
paraglider.
No.
Yeah, I will say that with that caveat too. Like, this is a movie you can, like, this, as Robert had said earlier, like, you know, smoke a bowl, man. Like, just hang out with this movie. Crack, if weed's not your thing, crack a 6-pack.
Yeah.
Or if, you know, you're, you know, completely sober, do that thing where you, like, cut ping pong balls in half and, like, put them on your eyes and do, like, a little, like, altered states kind of.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't do the mushrooms. You will be scared, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially with Phil Tippett stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty freaky.
Yeah.
Maybe a mushroom come down, though. Like, you know.
A chaser.
Like when things have already settled, like when you're still getting like a little bit of that kind of like vibration every 2 seconds kind of thing. You're just like,
Just turn it off when they get up in the biplane because it gets dark after that, man.
or go take a poo.
take a break. Anyways, yeah, this is like, it's also a fun like background movie for a party or something like that, where you're like, you know, you're hanging out, you're making conversation, and all of a sudden you're the third wheel of said conversation. And
That's
oh,
how,
hey, look, there's a duck.
That's how you attract the flies. That's
Yeah,
how
exactly.
that's how you get you find the people, you find the
Yeah.
crew.
It has its place. I will say that. It has its
Yeah, for
place
sure.
in the history of cinema. The first MCU movie.
Yeah.
You know, he'll be in the Avengers 6.
Yeah.
Like, I hope.
Maybe in phase 9 or whatever.
Yeah. Phase 9, the
you.
Howard phase. He's like, what, you want, I'm in charge? The whole thing?
It's also known as the I give up phase.
Yeah.
Like scraped barrels so hard that they're just like, all right, well, we already did like the zombie like universe complete. Like
Yeah.
we've already done that entire, like what if Howard and a zombie? Maybe.
Yeah, zombie Howard the Duck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he would be the best protagonist for
That's what I'm
a
saying. Yeah.
Marvel Zombies property. That would be, he's like, there's zombie fucking Spider-Man out there. What do you want me to do? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
what the, I'm just a guy, not even strong.
Oh my God. Howard the Duck, Shaun of the Dead, basically.
Yeah.
That would be incredible.
I'm in.
Yep.
I'm in.
Like again,
for sure.
also like, you know, if you're listening, Disney, which you're not, but yeah, bring back Howard, but just do him right. Like just have him be the character that he was meant to be. Have him be the straight man to a world gone awry.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're going to have a great time.
It is kind of Howard's trapped in a mediocre movie. Like a character that I think has like real legs or could have had legs, for me is like stuck in a shell, as you will.
Exactly.
Yeah, like,
That-
an egg.
Yeah, that is it.
Very-
He's trapped in an egg, like on the cover, right? Where his beak's breaking out of the shell.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And it's like, that's the movie. The movie is the egg.
Yeah, I was saying the poster was warning you.
Yeah, I guess
They're
so.
like, hey man, this isn't exactly what you want to see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We're not all the way there yet.
we didn't mention any of the promos they did for this. They did not show the costume
Really?
before the release at all. The poster is all you got. The beak.
Wow.
There was no previews. There were previews, but they didn't show they showed them from behind. They didn't show the face. They didn't show any of the interaction with people
Ooh,
Because they were embarrassed or because they're
'Cause-
building?
because they were embarrassed because they didn't know how to sell it. They didn't know how it was going to do.
Oh, they're going full Godzilla 2000.
Yeah.
Like I remember the promo. This is full tangent, but I remember the promos for that and being so fucking excited because it was 2000 and I was a child and was just like, oh my God. Like it would be like just a shot of a museum. It's very mundane, boring. And then all of a sudden Godzilla's foot comes and crushes said museum. And then
Yeah.
just Memorial Day 2000.
Yeah.
Size does matter was their
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
tagline.
Which is very Howard the Duck.
Yeah. And then I remember, like, even as a child, seeing Godzilla 2000, which I don't think we're ever going to do that because I don't have. Well, we could. That'd be a fun one. Just rip it apart.
Was that the
But-
Matthew Broderick one or the Japanese one?
No.
Godzilla 2000.
Oh, I mean, like, Godzilla and then parentheses 2000, like the Matthew Broderick one.
Okay, yeah.
I remember, like, being a kid and seeing Godzilla, like, being so hyped, being so excited.
I loved
then-
that movie.
Seeing the actual lizard monster for the first time and being like, oh.
See, I liked it. So we should watch that one because
Yeah.
that's probably a horrible movie. I watched it like 10 times. I loved it as a kid.
I just
So-
remember there was so much, I was caught up in the marketing so hard
Totally.
that I was just like,
Taco
And
Bell
then-
dog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, lizard.
Yeah.
And
Seared in my brain.
I was going to say, yeah, I left the accent out because, it's 2023. We're not doing that.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I can't wear my shirt anymore. But yeah, what else? Any more on Howard?
I think
we're going to call it there.
Done. Yeah, I think we're officially in, just the aftermath. If you guys want to keep talking, kind of.
Well, no, I want to go ahead and thank everyone for listening.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
We have our new website, nostalgikillers.com. Please check it out. Please check out our Patreon. There are post-game shows. We talk for a good half an hour to an hour, almost every show. Probably not tonight, but there's fun stuff to listen to. We're trying for goodies. And once you're on there, you can let us know what you want from us. Like, what do you want to hear next? Give some movie suggestions. Tell us what we should do. We might ignore you. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, most of the people who listen to this are like people we know. So also, do you want to be on the fucking show? Like, just
stop. No, they keep coming. Stop.
Tell your friends.
Don't tell your friends.
No, tell your friends to watch it.
Yeah. Just subscribe.
Make your grandma watch it. Sit her down with your phone. Go to the iTunes, get this podcast, have her listen to it. She's like, "What is Howard the Duck?" She'll love this.
Do a watch along.
We're nice boys.
Confuse the shit out of her. Have the podcast full blast. Have Howard the Duck full blast. Full sensory overload.
Yeah. That's how you introduce grandma to the MCU.
And if you are subscribed on any platforms, Spotify, Apple, you're probably not on Google, so no one's on Google except me. But if you get a chance, leave a review. Give us some stars. It'll start helping us get some clout and maybe some sponsors.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Give us a couple stars, thumb us up. Do that whole thing because,
and maybe we'll stop throwing things at you like Howard the Duck and.
Oh no! I feel like I think that's the bread and butter.
We're trying to get the Disney sponsorship, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the way to do it.
Howard the Duck now on Disney Plus.
Also Hulu Plus, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Oh,
Robert, you got some
plugs.
Yeah, pluggables.
Yeah. Please check out my Instagram at Robert_Negoesco at Robert Negoesco. If you search that name on YouTube, that's another spot where I got a whole bunch of stuff, short films that these gentlemen helped me make. She Woke Up Possessed is on there, amongst many other things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, my Instagram and my YouTube, that's the main places you can find me. I got some comics coming out, so stay tuned.
And this is the first time I'll ever do a plug. What really inspired us to do Howard the Duck is Luke, Robert, and I all worked on a short film that I wrote and directed called Nestor. And it is available on YouTube, Vimeo, and any other archaic thing you would use to watch a short film other than YouTube. I could split it up and put it on Instagram or TikTok before we lose it in America. So it could possibly be on that too soon. But anyways, look up Nestor.
Yeah.
It is literally, if you Google Nestor short film, that's the fastest way to find it, but it's also on my YouTube channel, Cover Your Eyes Entertainment.
There'll be links in the description.
There'll be links in description.
I'll put them in there.
It is a related film.
A prequel, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe a sequel.
Or the child of Howard. You are the true child of Howard. That's you.
Exactly. There would be no Nestor without Howard the Duck, possibly.
That's very possible.
Very possible. And with that, I've been Luke Lone.
Robert Negoesco.
I've been Chuck Starzinski.
Thank you for listening to the Nostalgia Killers.
Bang, bang.